Yes.
Yes, that's the guy who Eteman himself.
Oh, really?
Yes,
There's an
he
Entenmann.
was
Oh, you
the
met
one.
Mr. Entenmann.
Yes. And he,
Howdy, and welcome back to the Idea to Impact podcast, the show where we are bringing you faculty and community members from Texas A&M and surrounding areas to talk about their stories with technology transfer, commercialization, and entrepreneurship. This week we have part 2 of our discussion with Dr. Sharma. In today's episode, we dive into how Dr. Sharma is working with our office to commercialize his inventions. And as we discuss this, you will hear the passion he has for making sure his research develops into a positive impact on the world, which is why he continues to push for his technology to be licensed. Let's get started.
And you said the company, so you have this product that came out of research from the lab here at A&M, and then you formed like a startup company around that technology. Is that correct?
yeah, the company is a startup company. And this company is basically retired from, he's an eye surgeon. And so he's the one, he found enough interest or enough innovation there that he was very much wanted this license. And license process took some time, but eventually make a deal and everything, the agreement takes time.
Okay. So the company is licensing the technology from A&M.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
It's because this technology is owned by A&M.
Okay. And what is your role in that company?
Right now, I think they will hire me, or I will be consultant. Actually, not hire. I'll be consultant, a technological officer of the company. So I'll answer all the technical questions.
So you have a either you arrived here in this kind of level of peace that I see you at, or you always had it, and I'm not sure which. It would be interesting to know. But we've seen so many scientists who realize that there's a commercial application for what they're inventing, and they say, hey, that business stuff, that isn't so hard. I'll just do all that. I mean, I know everything about the thing I'm making, the research that I'm doing. I can run a company, I can raise money, I can raise capital, and yet they usually end up getting to the point where they say, okay, I really misjudged how hard this is. I need to get a CEO in. I need to get a CFO. I need to basically step back from running the company and focus on the science. You're already there. You're already at the point where, I mean, you're here with this amazing discovery, this amazing invention, and you're a consultant to the company that's doing it. And you seem really happy, like that's the way it's supposed to be. Were you always there? Did you always realize that the scientist isn't necessarily the CEO, or was that something you had to come to over the course of time?
From very early on, this is probably I'll answer a little bit detail. Maybe what you just said is vary from person to person.
True.
Regarding myself, and I think maybe I can generalize too, because there is for professors, I notice, this is just through experience, they are very happy they have a patent.
Yeah, it's true.
But they like to say, oh, we have a patent, we have done something which is fine, it's good to have a patent.
Right.
Patent is sometimes just patent, because if you talk enough with, maybe I'm not downgrading the patent meaning, but if you talk enough with the attorney, patent attorney and examiner, eventually you will get the patent. You have very few claims, but you will have the patent.
Right.
But the statistics says, which I learned early on, only less than 2% patents get commercialized.
Gotcha.
So there I got the masses, 98% are failing.
Mm.
And then why they are failing? Because I think sometimes we as academic professors overestimate ourselves.
Right.
Business is, in my opinion, if one person is genius, as you said, if some person can do all those 3 steps or 4 steps being a business, is fine, great. But I think most of the people, which if 90% are failing, right? That means something is not right.
Right, right,
And that is what they are trying to do. If a professor saying, I want to get hold of this thing, this is my baby, and I will make all the 90% money out of it, others get 10%, is not
Right.
going to fly.
right, right.
So professors, and they have to let it go. This is my own experience. And that's what I did. I never thought I will open my own company. Many suggested. I get very close to it, but finally I back because in my house, the vice person is my wife.
Right.
And she always stop me doing, she knows me more than what I can do and what I enjoy.
Right.
And I realize as a personal thing, I'm not a good businessman. And business need to have spent time in certain things, these things, and I'm not that person. But I'm nothing wrong with as a
Sure.
person, as a businessman is a great thing. We always need them. Otherwise, we'll not do what we are doing, for example.
Right.
So this is my own experience that I'm not good in something. First is I'm not good in something, then I will not enjoy it. So why do I that thing? A life is short. And why I do something, but still I have a passion about my molecule, which can do so many good things to the human beings, because my life mission is saving lives, even one life. That's
Right.
my mission when I wake up. So in doing this thing, if I make no money or little money, I'm fine with that because I'm completing my bigger mission. I don't hate the money either,
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah.
but my bigger mission is saving lives.
I think that's
If
wise.
somebody can help me, some businessman who is really done whole life, this kind of things. So why not let them do these things? Let them make money. But if they make money and get the product in the market, I still win because my mission is to saving lives.
Right.
So I think that's my personal view on this thing. At the same time, I think as a researcher or professor, I wish they need to do the same thing. Get the right person, business. We need to have a business model.
And that's
Not
why
a publishing a paper. Need to have business model to do something with this technology.
you can't just stop at getting the patent or publishing the paper,
No,
right? You have to
no.
have, we talked yesterday, you have to have, it's great to have the information out there, but it has to have an application. It has to have a real world application in order for it to make impact. And so you can get the patent, but then you have to step back and let the business people
Yes.
find the application, get it licensed out.
Yeah, initially, again, I don't have much knowledge, but initially, I think that's what Microsoft did. Once they established their window system, they start giving to everyone, please use.
Right.
And this thing, they were able to put in many people their system, and now they're making money like anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think that's my experience. But I like to have many more applications to saving lives, like in cancer treatment, many wounds I was saying, but somebody has to come and help me doing these things. Like
Right.
I'm not cancer expert, so somebody has to come. So I go and talk with different people, maybe 10 people, one will get excited about it and help me. And I don't mind if people ignore me, still fine, because my mission is saving lives, not my ego. So, so that's what I'm trying to do. Like I'm talking with, even sending emails, and he's responding now. I know this, and we have new person, Roderick Pettigrew.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
you heard, yeah,
Yes.
I'm in touch with him, and always talking. Let's do something together because he's our new dean, and he has a lot of experience in medical side.
Yes.
So I want to do something with him.
Right.
And I think he has experience, or he knows people who can help me on my bigger mission.
And Dr. Pettigrew, for those who are listening or watching, is running the new NMED program, I believe, as well, the Engineering and Medicine program.
Yeah, that's the first of its kind in the nation, maybe
right.
world.
That's absolutely right. So that whole idea of checking the ego at the door as an academic, and as you know, Beth and I are also folks that have spent some time in the academic arena. I would say ego's pretty high when you
Yes,
get into, when you get into
yes,
the academy.
because
Pretty
because
high. So
you're absolutely right.
that it's
Even our one paper get rejected, we are angry with the reviewers.
reviewers
How
obviously
come?
screwed up. They're
We are,
stupid.
exactly. They don't know. First thing I notice, most of the people, they don't know what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
That's
That's
what
right.
the first reaction is. Rather than accept what is wrong in the paper, and I use the same strategy. I immediately say thank you to the reviewers. Even my all presentations, I thank you the reviewers who
Right.
really, even they reject my paper, but I thank you them because I learn from them so much.
Mhm.
It's very true. And I think that checking of the ego in a situation where you're going on that path from idea to impact allows you to see where the best team can form, right? Like you
Yes,
said, this person can help me here, this person can help me here, this person can help me here. And at a certain point, maybe you're the one who's the center of that circle helping the actual product, the commercialized research.
yeah, that's my goal, right? I'm looking for goal is the ferret, not me.
Well, that's just it. And I think a lot of times we think of it as ourselves that's moving along the
Yes,
path, but it's really the technology that's moving and then your
yes.
team members helping it.
And
That's a
and
great
that's
outlook.
very important, extremely important, because one time I was hired as a consultant in a company in Florida.
Mhm.
Okay, there was a product. Okay, and the two people were there as a partner, and product was still in developing stage. They both have egos,
Right.
so they were fighting. They're going even to the court and
Yeah.
who will make how much money and all those things. Even they don't have the product.
Right. Right.
And I feel like
Or
that,
they have the product, but not the real product,
Right.
which
Right.
can go to the market. But
Right.
they are fighting, going all the way to court. The attorneys are coming, and because they found I will talk the truth, so nobody was interested out of those two to bring me to the court, because they probably want I should say this, otherwise I should say this. No, I said I will tell what I think is the best of my knowledge.
Right.
And but that company did not go too far.
yeah,
And it does happen quite often because money is involved. They
Right.
forget the bigger goal that everybody should make money rather than you make the money.
Right.
You have to have in this thing, technology or business, you have to have a win-win situation. Otherwise, it will not go anywhere.
yeah.
Maybe
And
short term is okay, but a bigger, longer term, I think is product will not go if you don't have win-win scenario.
right. And that's so terrible. You think how many really great products out there haven't made it to market because of egos.
So true.
Yes,
People are fighting.
you are absolutely right. Ego is the other example I learned from Bobby. Melvin Bobby.
Right.
He was involved in some part of a defense, some big deal. That professor or some person developed that part. I will not mention what is that part of those things. He didn't tell me either. But he wanted certain money, 100 million from a company. And he did not agree with this. So now that company he was supposed to sell or license it is waiting, sitting on it there for 2 more years. Then he will lose because patent has value
Right.
at certain years. So he will lose after 2 years. Then they can use that technology.
Right.
Then it gets zero. So it's better to get something rather than zero.
Right. And the problem with getting zero is it's not just the person that's not getting money, but then that, the university that owns that technology is not getting money.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then that money goes back.
University has a function, they give the space and all those things. They pay the initial fees, patent fees, and all those things. People should realize that. Professors should realize that too. I always, like my dean was very supportive to me when, he's no more dean there, but I always thank you to him. If he would not have approved that patent fee from his package when he came here, I would not be talking with you basically either.
Right. Right.
So I appreciate him that he approved and paid my patent fee, has some faith in me.
Mhm.
And I convinced him enough. He calls me Iron Man.
That's great.
That's
So
awesome.
when I give presentation, I said, I want to convince you at the end, I'm the real Iron Man.
That should be
That's
the
awesome.
new
That's the title. I
Is it-
am Iron Man. I am the real Iron
I
Man.
think this magazine, I don't know if you have seen from our school, they had put this title, Real Iron Man,
Yeah.
and they advertised. So that's what I got from.
Tell you, the school of public health, man, they have humor. I mean,
They do.
they're a fun group of people.
Yeah,
I know-
I found
just-
that the ego is usually checked with a lot of the folks that we've seen, Beth, from the School of Public Health, that they are incredibly intelligent, incredibly successful, incredibly accomplished, and they're just regular folks that live down the street. And it's so refreshing to see that. So I love working with the School of Public Health. You guys are great.
I don't know if you have seen Texas Water Research Institute. They made a profile on me. Have you seen that?
No.
Or you can Google it, but after this talk,
Okay.
I'll send you this article. They did profile on me, and so all about ferret.
That's
Yeah.
great. And we'll put the link in the description for the
They
YouTube and the
they
podcast.
also call you the real Iron Man in that one.
And I know that they call Amazing Iron about ferret. Yeah, I don't know if they say Iron Man there, but they are doing other profile too, which is more as journal. Meet the Scientist.
Gotcha.
But this one is just on ferret.
Gotcha.
And so while you're doing all of this commercialization and you're continuing to do research in your lab, and then I think some people listening might want to hear how you manage to do all that while also teaching and the other responsibilities that you have as a professor at A&M. How did you manage your time?
How do you balance
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
The very good question. Sometimes one has to be lucky. I would say I was blessed, and that I got some good postdoc in my lab, and also my collaborator, Dr. Chetan Jinadatta in Temple, Texas. He was very helpful, and he didn't charge any money or anything. We just collaborate, and so just you meet the people who are ready to help, basically, and that way I was able to. And as I mentioned, my dean sport, and when I came, Tommy McDonald, was the head of department. He always supported me. So I think school was very supportive in general, what I do. So that helped me to do several things. Because I like to publish things, but I'm doing research, so I like to publish. Because once you write the paper, you get some new ideas. Like we got the idea of activated ferret, not just ferret, activated ferret. What that mean? Very early on, I don't know how much time we have, but
We have plenty of time.
I want to introduce activated ferret,
What is that?
which we did not cover before. Most of the time, I said ferret 6
Right.
is the stable, right?
Right.
But I also mentioned 4 and 5.
Right.
These 4 and 5 are even more reactive,
Okay.
because they behave like radicals.
Okay.
So somehow, if you can control the chemistry, you can create selectively 4 and 5, then it will be wonderful thing, because they are more reactive. For example, if ferret is going and taking the electron in 1 hour, slowly going, scaring little bit, I'm here, I'm
Right.
6 here, give me now something.
Right.
But 4 or 5, they don't mess. They just go and grab the electron.
So they're more aggressive because of their
Yes.
unstable state, right?
Yes,
Gotcha.
I'm here. Please give me some money or electron.
And
Give
so
me
that
food.
means you can disinfect quicker? Is that the
Yes,
time reduces?
that's the
Gotcha.
idea. That's the idea. Or you can remove pollutants faster.
Gotcha.
Sorry, you were asking question, Beth.
Is there a consequence to them working faster? Like, do they get sloppy and leave things that they shouldn't?
No. We are still in process to understand the whole chemistry. But in terms of sloppy, because eventually all will go to 3. Doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
So, so that sense is not sloppy or anything.
Okay.
So what we found, and because we have NSF funding to do removal of pharmaceuticals in urine.
Removal of what? In urine?
Yeah, drugs
Okay.
from urine.
Okay.
The reason is the following: we take antibiotics, and about 60% they don't stay in our body; they just come out from the urine,
Right.
and then go to water, and then come back to us. So what is happening is developing the antibiotic resistance bacteria. What that means, bacteria is getting used to. So if you apply chlorine, they're just smiling. Come on.
Is that all you got?
Bring me something, exactly. But they are adapting.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And according to World Health Organization, WHO, this is the one of the biggest health problem of this century.
I heard.
Like we have a virus now, we have no solution because they're just. Sorry, you were before I.
No, I heard an estimate that by 2040 or 2050, we're going to be in a real crisis when it comes to the antibiotics.
Exactly. That I'm talking about.
Right, because we've taken so many antibiotics that we've basically built up an immunity. I mean, I don't know how to say it. That they're not working anymore.
And other things we need to be worried about. The companies, pharmaceutical companies, they are not making new antibiotics.
Gotcha.
Because again, back to business model. Maybe the business model is telling them no, they cannot make money. Because most antibiotics is expensive, but we use in a farming. Farming means cattle and all those things in bulk. That's why you're keeping the price down for human consumption.
How dangerous is it that this might sound a little bit gross, but we've introduced urine already, so I think it'll be okay. If I take an antibiotic and 60% of what I'm taking is actually flushed out of my body, and it goes and it returns back to the earth somehow, it's eventually going to be somehow reemerge back in our water supplies. It has to, right?
You're absolutely right.
And then if Beth is there drinking water, years later, is she then endangering herself because then she's taking antibiotics, and are the antibiotics going to be less useful on her later on when we get to that? Is that
probably because I'm drinking that college station water? So
you are right. You would not believe. I don't know. I read the literature in Europe. I don't know about here. I'm not sure. So I remember definitely here, somewhere here too. They have tested antibiotics in bottled water.
Okay.
They found antibiotics in bottled water that you're talking basically.
Wow. Okay.
Not only this, bottled water has, not tap water. Bottled water has.
Wow.
Because some places they are basically filling from that place, some bottles, and they're selling us.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's not good.
No, it's a major issue. So can ferret 6 or ferret 5 or 4 combat some of those? You said they can remove some pharmaceuticals.
Yes. So this
help?
project we propose how we can use ferret to remove pharmaceuticals from urine.
Gotcha.
So to understand this thing, how to remove, so we did pure water and then start replicating how the urine will be, step by step. And urine also contains chloride ion, bicarbonate ion is like soda.
Okay.
And we were testing some organics present in urine too. And out of those, we found some of the components already present, they can remove faster.
Gotcha.
The pharmaceuticals.
They kind of super energize them and charge them up faster? Okay, gotcha.
Yes. So for example, bicarbonate is there, somehow it brings 6 to 4 and 5 quickly and stabilize it or something and enhance the oxidation.
Gotcha.
Or enhance the removal of pharmaceuticals. And there are some other organic present there, they can also enhance it. And beauty of this process is, because in our urine we have urea. and urea somehow it doesn't ready to give electron to ferret. So it does not react
Huh.
much. So that turned out to be very good for us.
How?
Because if it doesn't react, you can sap the urea and use for fertilizer. So you're making a urea recovery.
Oh. So you have like almost pure urea coming out of the process because you're getting the
That
other
ferret
stuff
is
out.
removing the pharmaceuticals
Gotcha.
and other things for
Gotcha.
urea is stable, so you have nitrogen recovery.
Right. And there's no no antibiotics in the fertilizer,
Yes.
which is good.
And all those things, and we think is due to the activated ferrets.
Gotcha.
And then we have actually new patent now. We
Yeah.
applied for it.
Yeah.
It's under examination
Okay.
out of this.
Wow.
And then in doing the experiment in the lab in VA hospital, this doctor lives close to the lake there. His house is close to lake. He's worried about his lake water, and so he bring the lake water. And because he's saying maybe we can remove E. coli there too. And again, this water contains carbonate.
Right.
So we put little bit and it's gone. No E. coli left in that water.
So the carbonate is kind of like a power boost in a video
Yes,
game where you hit it and it
exactly.
goes faster.
Exactly.
Can you add that to your product in order to make it?
That's what we have in this patent. We have
Gotcha.
certain composition where you can enhance it.
Gotcha.
And in this process, we also learn enough about organics. So I came up with some natural material or natural component that can also enhance it.
Mhm.
So that's creating some kind of new applications
Hmm.
and new use of activated ferret. A recent paper, sorry, you have a question before I talk
Okay,
about.
no, I was just gonna tell a story. You know, my sister, when we were younger, went down to like New Braunfels, Texas, and we floated the river. And it was a year that we were in a drought, and the water was really low. The flow rate of the river was really low,
Right.
and she got E. coli from the river. And so I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, like,
Yeah.
how great would it have been to be able to, you know, add something that's not toxic to something like that, like to a river where there's people swimming in it, you know. And the problem was there was cattle upstream that was
Sure.
pooping in the river, and that's where
Right.
the E. coli came from. But how great would it have been to put some of those, you know, ferrets in the water so that people aren't getting sick from recreational activities?
You know, there's a recent story in Texas too. Some young daughter, right? For some water. It was 3 days ago or something. Yes, I forget the name of that species.
Mm.
And she got sick or something drastic happened drinking that water.
Yeah, so there, I mean, there's a lot of applications that, you know, we talked yesterday about, you know, how ferret can purify water. So now I'm really going to be coming to Dr. Sharma's house in case.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah. More water
I think
samples.
my overall view of this is that this ferret needs a smart businessman
Right.
and little patience. I think if that smart businessman and patience, money will flow. That's my opinion. And you have to be, in this case, you don't need to be, I think, not to be smart or all those things. You just need to be lucky
Mhm.
That's true.
rather than how smart you are or those things. You need to be just lucky to see the potential, like we are talking, and then figured out Virender needs help. He has good intention. He wants to save lives, and just use this one. Let's see if there is something there. Let me help. And I'm sure, I'm very optimistic person. I think I still be here talking about ferret even after 10 years. I mean, some out-of-box application, you never think.
Mm.
And like I was mentioning, cancer research. Like I'm moving in that direction too, but I need somebody cancer expert, and that's why I was talking with Roderick. He
Gotcha.
explained little bit whole the process, how cancer drugs and all those this thing works. Because in cancer research, my good friend, his wife is going to some terrible time to the treatment.
Right. Right.
Young is little in 40s, but going to this treatment.
Right.
And I learned they do 16 treatment of chemical.
Right.
16, what they call
Chemotherapy.
Yeah, chemotherapy.
Yes.
Why 16? Right? For example, if I can reduce 20%,
Absolutely.
right? And I'm not just talking because chemistry tells me it is possible.
Right.
And why it is doing 16 times back to the same OH radical get produced, which I talked from the beginning.
Right.
And
Right.
This radical, a problem with this radical is so reactive because once you produce radical by chemotherapy, this kind of radicals, they need to travel and go to the cell.
Right.
And they just get destroyed before go over there.
Yep.
So that's why they need many times. So some will reach there and destroy that cancer cell.
Gotcha.
You follow what I?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. You're
So,
yeah.
So why don't we chemist people go and talk with cancer research people and tell them how they can optimize this chemistry? Chemistry is actually not new. It's 15 years ago or maybe more than it's done. They're
Right.
just bombarding with some chemicals to produce this radical to destroy the cell, targeted cell. And it's not targeted one.
Right.
Because that's why you lose many other things. They are not targeting it. They're destroying other cells too in this chemotherapy.
Do you
Right.
think the ferrets could target it better?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's the idea I had. You bring ferret and something there. Even I learned more thing which I will talk a little bit more. You can go and take to this thing, bring the light from outside, which can open it, that drug. It just the targeted cell, do the job and close that box.
Really? Okay.
Yes, big light you can open. You can make some kind of material which will open the hole through the light. And you can put in this one material, something is there, so camera can watch how it's being delivered.
So this is sounding a lot like what President Trump was made fun of for saying, let's try to get the light inside the people. Is that without getting, that does bring me to a good point. I don't want to get political about this, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to ask you about its applications for a pandemic, but you did mention that it could potentially destroy viruses as well as bacteria.
Yes,
right?
virus is actually easier compared to bacteria.
Okay. Really?
Because ferret is destroy the C. diff. C. diff is the most difficult one. People get sick and get many deaths in the United States from the C. diff bacteria. Clostridium difficile. That means difficult. That one name came.
Okay.
And it can which I was talking take 2 minutes is for this species.
Gotcha.
Others are easier. Others are easier.
So the hard ones are taking 2 minutes. The easy ones would be, and the viruses are on the easier side of that.
Sorry.
And the viruses are actually easier than the bacteria.
Yeah, somehow whatever I know from a virus is easy, just like a chemical, no layer or something. It just go easier. Like we did recently publish a paper using ferret. That's more MNV virus. This is called MNV, which is in Yosemite Park, and people find they get sick there in California from this virus, norovirus, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So it works. It get the log reduction. Several,
wow.
I think around 5 log reduction.
It's almost like a miracle thing. It disinfects, it purifies.
It can do the disinfection. It can remove pollutant through oxidation. It can remove metals. And the latest research which we submit for a paper too, to review, is very interesting story in the sense, which is very interesting. 6 goes to 3, I was talking about 3, right? And these 3 become activator.
Oh, really?
So
Okay,
reaction is going, and then after forming some, now it's becoming activator.
Huh.
Of
Wow.
course, you can add also from outside the sarin, but after some time, it's becoming activator,
Wow.
like bicarbonate I mentioned.
Right. Right. So you need a good smelling bicarbonate too, and then the nurses will like the smell of the disinfectant.
For example, or we can put, we try 1 or 2, what's called some scent,
Yeah.
which will not react with ferret, but it gives the nice smell.
Nice smell.
But then
right.
market was telling it, they don't worry too much.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
ferret was not that bad. So they said, why put something, then this will require some money.
So the I-Corps process, whether somebody gets to go through the actual NSF I-Corps program or not, the process of customer discovery seems to be very valuable in your situation. Seems to have been very valuable.
Extremely, for me, it opened my eyes,
Yeah.
literally. First, I said, why people are dying for and spending $80 billion federal government? And then, I think is salesperson do good job selling things, works or
Right.
not, but they are ready to sell. So it looks like they are in this market and they can charge more in hospital. Same Clorox, maybe 10 times more expensive than you can get in Walmart.
Gotcha.
Maybe more,
Right.
maybe because
So-
people sue there too.
So you've got a lot of stuff on the horizon. You're talking about the the activated ferrets. But what else is on the horizon for you? What's the next step in your life? Either whether it's with the company or whether it's within your research. What's the next step here?
I think
For
it's
you.
next step for me. My challenging things are what I'm doing is in terms of research, maybe do better. As a scientist, you always like to, or I think, I don't know, only
Right.
my peers will tell, I like to do better in research. What we haven't seen, like I'm saying, for example, I'm saying, 6 go and inactivate, it produce 4 and 5.
Right. Right.
But that's just the postulation. Yes.
Right.
But there is no evidence, direct evidence.
Right.
So I want to go maybe, because they are very short-lived, maybe go to national labs in this country. And maybe they have special instrument
Okay.
which can catch these things, or anywhere in the world. One time I was talking even in people in France, they have Grenoble National Lab.
Right.
That particular instrument I was looking, that exists there. I think our instrument be ready in Brookhaven too in a couple of years, or maybe next year. So this is the angle I will take in the research. But I said now I wake up and say how I can save lives.
Right.
To save lives, my product needs to go outside, and this product has to solve problems. And whatever I'm generating in the lab is not the product that will solve the problem. It has to be modified based on the market or customers. And that will require innovation or critical thinking. How the market will drive the product, not like Vrinder has developed this product because I'm professor now, please use it. This is not going to work this way.
Right.
So what market is telling me what product do they need and how I can modify it and how to really people use it.
Right.
That really that will require, like, I didn't think about that my ferret product should have detergent.
Right. Right.
So it's not only kill, it should clean the surface.
Right.
Now you're
Right.
talking about, it should not smell. You should put something there so
Mhm.
it should not smell. Right now, US market is saying we don't need that scent
Right.
to smell. Maybe if I go to Europe, or they are very finicky country people, so they may
Right.
need some scent. So I need to find out how I can put there, which does not destroy the ferret capability either.
Yep.
That requires some thinking and such. So I'll keep doing research creating some creativity, so it can suit more to the market. And that is, I think, is also a big step. It's not simple step. So
you're
that's
gonna
my
keep
vision
doing,
for future. And keep
keep
publishing
doing,
papers.
yep. Keep doing the research, keep publishing the papers, but also keep one foot on the innovation side, on the business side,
Yes.
and paying attention to what the market is needing and what the actual problems are. Because if you create something in a lab but nobody needs it, what's the point?
Right.
Again, I think Annie, when we write proposal, why do we care? That's
Yep.
the question I am asked.
Yeah.
And why do we care is not decided by Virender. It's decided by everybody else except Virender.
Yes.
Right.
And
Right.
keep my ego down always.
Yes. That seems to be a critical element
Yes.
in life in general, is to
So
do
some
that.
people don't reply my emails. I'm still writing because I think that person can help me. Two,
Right.
3 times people say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we insulted you, but you didn't mind it." Fine. Whatever the meaning of that, but I take is a positive compliments. Thank you.
Right.
Please help me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this
So-
has been a
That's my
fantastic
baby
show. This show, I've learned so much.
I kind of feel like this is almost like a dating show, and we have this ferret, and we're trying to find it. When we have Iron Man, who we're trying
Iron
to
Man.
find Iron Man, it's business person. You know, we're trying to, you know,
Right.
if there is somebody out there listening that, you know, you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, and you've sparked an idea from something we've talked about
And
today.
as I said, I'm very hopeful person. Somebody will come. When
Mhm.
I was in Florida in 2004 or something, or maybe a little earlier, 1 to 3 old people just walk in my office from nowhere. And and normally I notice with time, this country, rich people, they live they drive old truck. Nobody can figure them. They have the
Right.
money.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
they were those kind of people.
Right.
And one was a guy who has a share or maybe opened this, but the soup can, but the company, big company.
Campbell?
With the soup.
Campbell's?
Yes. One was that. Another guy was, I don't know if they still sell the cake, Ataman cake.
Entenmann's. Entenmann's. Yes.
Yes, that's the guy who Ataman himself.
Oh, really?
Yes,
There's an
He
Entenmann.
was
Oh, you
the
met
one.
Mr. Entenmann.
yes. And he actually gave me money, and then university match, so I created some endowment in my father's name
Oh, that's nice.
in Florida.
Yeah.
And I use those money for whatever 5% come out from the endowment to do further research.
Mhm.
So I'm saying I got lucky, if you really think. So I'm
Yeah.
hopeful somebody will come again and take this ferret further than I'm thinking right now.
Somebody
you-
once told me that, just because you're looking for somebody specific doesn't mean that somebody specific out there isn't also looking for you.
Yeah.
And there's that match that's talking about.
Yeah.
And it happens. They're like, "Oh, I'm so glad I met you. I was looking for that." And they're like, "I'm
Yes.
so glad I met you. I was looking for that."
Yes.
So yeah, it
What do
happens.
they say? If you build it, they will come. Isn't that
I mean, there's a version of that for sure. Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
I was talking with my wife. We don't have any children.
Uh-huh.
So whatever we left with, it will just go to ferret
Yeah.
Right.
or education.
Yeah.
When
Well,
we are gone, it will just one day. I think that would happen. I will put all in education.
that's
So
wonderful.
if I'm not, I'm moderate success or low success, somebody will come having better success than I have, and then do something good to the world.
Well, I think as educators, that's
That's my vision. So that's I complete with this vision what you were asking.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, this has been really interesting, Dr. Sharma. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank
the-
you for giving me opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we enjoy hearing the passion you have, not only talking about Ferret, but like the business side of things, and Jack. Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah.
It sure has been, and your vision and the keys to success that aren't necessarily just scientific or business. For instance, integrity and low ego and all those other
Yes.
things. It's a whole
Yes.
package that really is going to help.
Yes, it has to be honesty, and that will matter at the end. Okay,
Yeah.
we are trying to save lives. And
Right.
if we don't have honesty and all those things, there is no point. We are
Absolutely.
wasting time then.
I'm glad we could
Extremely
have.
important.
I'm glad we could have the real Iron Man on our
Yes.
our podcast slash dating game slash match making. So once again, thank you for joining us on the Idea to Impact podcast. Join us again next week where you will hear more stories of faculty and vendors taking their ideas from the lab to impact. See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.